Player development. What an exciting time. You ready, Jarod, to see players get better?
I am so ready. Sid, you didn't know I was going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you now on the spot. So everybody's getting excited. Xavi's coming. We're getting all these signings. If you're Carlo, are you like, yo, man, what the F? I asked you for Harry Kane. You said no. I asked you for center back help. You said no. This guy comes in yes, and you give him whatever you want. Like, do you think, one, Carlo's pissed, and two, is that a subtle way of the club being like, it's because we trust Xabi to do the right thing and we don't trust you to do the right thing?
It's definitely a sign of what they think about Alonso, that they saw the last few years as a transition period. I thought Carlo's quote was funny. He's like, it's just funny how effectively he rode the company line when he had to. He's like, hey, I don't think it was bad. They got me Bellingham. They got me like whoever I needed, Camavinga. Like,
but the reality is they were signing those guys anyway, right? Whether Carlo was here or not.
No, yeah. Camavinga was like, hey, like they had a list, and it's like we'll go after the list whenever the market opportunity arises without jeopardizing our signing of Mbappe. And yeah, that was really fun. I think Carlo's used to it though. That's my answer. I think he is used to being criticized fairly or unfairly throughout his career. He also, I think, must be aware on some level that he's never retained a league title. I don't think he's not aware. And I think he obviously has so much self-belief that he achieved what he did the last few years with us. You need self-belief to say, like, they call me dinosaur at Everton, I'll go win a Champions League with Real Madrid. Like, he doesn't care. And he still took the Everton job. Ultimately, I think he's used to it. I think he's used to the disrespect. And I think for him, it's kind of like a chill job. Like, I think he kind of likes the job. And so it's not as big a deal to him. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I just thought it was funny. I'm like, man, this guy's getting every signing he wants. And Carlo was just like, I just want some defenders. And they were like, no, squad's complete. Deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, even his last season here, 2014-15, we were just like a little thin, and it wasn't his fault. I think we were supposed to keep Alonso, and he had an affair, and so his wife was like, we're getting out of here. There were rumors that like that's the only thing that could ruin our Alonso's time at Real Madrid this time.
Xabi, please. I don't want I don't want off-field things to be the reason that this thing doesn't go well. Please, my guy.
Xabi, you're only allowed to be a family man while you're a coach. Once you're done being a coach, Xabi, right, you can do whatever you want.
Right, exactly.
Here, yeah. Like, none of that.
Go to some other club after us, do whatever you want. I don't care. But when you're here, please, my guy.
Yeah, go to City. Like, I don't care where you go. Go mess around. Like, blow up your family somewhere else. You're just not here.
Don't blow it up here.
And don't blow up your family, please.
I mean, all jokes aside, yes. Do not blow your family.
But we love you, Xabi. And sorry, Carlo, that last time you didn't have as deep a squad. Like, we were playing Arbeloa and Coentrao, who looked like corpses against Atletico when we lost 4-0. And I remember reading, like, an ESPN report, it's like, these backups suck. Like, what the hell? Like, they're really bad. That's something you got to realize. Like, they have no backups. And we went and signed a deep team. I just think it's just funny that Carlo prolonged with his success the day that we were going to go back to being a super team again. He prolonged it for so long. And by the time we got Mbappe, you almost just ride that team out. It's like, okay, we added Mbappe to a perceived non-super team. Let's see how they play before we really stack them up. And I mean, I hope Carlo ends well at Brazil, at least. I don't think this is the end.
Yeah, I have some doubts about that Brazil team because they got some problems.
Yeah, and so on that note, today we're going to talk about the players last season, how they played defense under Ancelotti, and we're going to give them a rating on how we felt their defense was, kind of accounting for how Carlo optimized them, actually, including like a Carlo adjusted rating for each player defensively. Not everyone was a 0. Like, they tried, they couldn't do it together. And so we'll do the Carlo, and then we want to talk about what we would like from them next year under Alonso. So let's start with the attack. I mean, I know we were going to start with the front, but let's just start with like the more goal contributing players. Let's just do the easy one first. Jude. For me, 10 out of 10, because he literally does it all. The instructions restrict how well the team can defend, but he never stops giving it all. I'm saying 10, 11 out of 10. Like, I don't know, 10 out of 10. That's all.
Yeah, I used letter grades, so whatever, 10. I agree with you. A for me on Jude on defense. For his deployment, how Carlo used him, and this is not a grade for Jude. This is Carlo. I give him an F because I feel like he used them incorrectly. Like this is the second year in a row, Sid, we've seen Jude by, I don't know, January-ish, just be exhausted. I'm like, we got 4 more months to go. Like, what? Like, that's not good. I mean, again, I said it before, I'll say it again. The first match of the season, the UEFA Super Cup, at halftime, when they're coming out to start the second half, Jude, you can hear it because the mics pick it up. He tells Vinny and Mbappe, you two have to finish the attacks because I'm effing killing myself running around. And that was match 1. And of course he felt that way because he just played the Euro finals like a week ago. Right. And so, yes. So Carlo gets an F for his deployment because this guy should not have had to be running himself ragged into the ground like he did, because now you're taking years off his career, like you will another player who we'll mention as we move further down the pitch.
Yeah, and also on that note, I was going to add, we have a little cheat sheet coming up, and I was going to add a 4th column about Carlo's optimization. Then I realized, what am I doing? It's F all across the board. Like, seriously.
Nothing, it's all Fs. All Fs.
that is an F season. In fact, if you as a coach need to study what a bad defensive season looks like, I would study this one from Real Madrid. It is the textbook example. Everything wrong, not professional. How can you mask it with top players? Go watch. Like, this is literally the case study. If I were in a coaching school, I'd be like, what do you not do? Show them this.
No, it's true. And to continue on Jude, because of the freedom Carlo gives on offense, right? When we now are out of possession, Jude is often out of position, right? Because he was all over the place. Oh, I had to go drop deep because they had to help us in our buildup. And again, I said it before, I'll say it again. We don't want Juego de Possession football here at Real Madrid. We don't need that. But that chaos that we saw this year, we don't need that either, right? Like, there has to be some sort of regression to the mean, to steal a statistical phrase, right? Where we have a little bit more structure. And obviously, I think because Xabi likes control, I believe, again, not maybe to the extent of Pep, even though he did learn under Pep, I think that'll help things out a bit there.
Yeah. So what are our expectations if we have to like summarize in 2 lines? I just feel like make him either get more bang for your buck when he runs, or make him run less. Do not make him run. I mean, but that's like kind of common sense. Just like, that just means create a system around him, right? That's really our expectation. Nothing with him. I will add one thing. I don't want him stuck on the left of midfield. Like,
I agree.
Okay, it works. Like, it worked against Barcelona and like Bayern, where like it's like Jude, Vinny, Rodrigo, and then just one of them goes up and the defense doesn't know who's coming from where. But Jude gets a little trapped down there for me. And I think I like him. I think I would like to see a winger defend on the wing. And like, and then I would like to see Jude press from the front. So I'll just say, have Jude augment press from front. Like, let's say play Jude higher up defensively.
I mean, look, I agree. I mean, I think we're not talking about offense today, but I think we both agree that Jude constantly starting on that left side is not ideal. He should be, right, a central attacking midfielder, right? Like, that's where he should be, at the top of, if you want, a diamond formation, right? Where he is the midfielder that's here, and you got your two strikers on opposite sides. That's where Jude should be, right? And that's his zone, so he can press from there, right? And then he can defend that area as well.
Yeah, like I want him pressing. If we like I want him pressing the other team's Cruz or Rodri or Busquets. I want him on their playmaker. So and like, he's just so fast. Like, you want him on a guy like that because he can just cause problems for those people for real. And so, all right, that's Jude. Next, let's do a slightly easier one too. Rodrigo.
Rodrigo actually defensively was fine this season. I graded him out, I think, a B+. A
for effort for me.
And his effort was an A. Like, again, the reason why the grade tanks is because deployment is an F, right? Because of the structure. And, again, this is not about offense, but this is a player who he's in not the top 5 in terms of salary, but like, he gets paid a lot of money and he doesn't give us what we need for the amount of money that we've invested in him. And I don't know, Sid, that dropping into some kind of defensive type of midfield, that's not probably not the ideal use of his talent, right? And so we already said on our keep, sell, loan show that I was like, I think we got to sell this dude.
It reminds me of, I hate to say this, but it reminds me of like D'Angelo Russell. And he's like, listen, I can only do so much on D. I'm going to try, but I'm an offensive player. That's Rodrigo. He's an offensive player. Like you can't beat him some plus defense. Yeah, and I think the whole thing with him lies on offense. That's why I wanted to get out of the way. Just an easy little single.
Yeah, so that's the thing with Rodrigo. A for effort, B plus overall. He got Carlo used them incorrectly.
My only expectation I would change. Try not to let him get isolated. I mean, this is not a defensive expectations. It's offense. But when he starts on the right on defense, awesome. And then in transition, he just gets kind of isolated. He's like he's not fast enough to drive it.
Correct.
Beyond a point. Like he's not going to create that much danger driving the ball. He's going to create enough against a lot of teams, but not so much. And
but he's not Lamine Yamal on the right side where you're like, oh shit. Like,
No, if honestly, when he drives it on the right, he's not a touchline winger. Like he's not. He's just so.
Well, because he's on a left footer, so you're not worried about him cutting back on his left foot. Because, I mean, look, he's got a better left foot than everybody else in the world who plays non-professionals. Yes, but he's not elite with that left foot. He's got to get to his right foot.
So I guess I'll make the note: get it better attacking output. I mean, I don't even know how to say this, but not a defensive issue. I'll just say
yes. He's the least of our defensive problems.
Yeah, not a defensive issue. He can defend on the right pretty well. Next, I'll let you choose which of our famous attackers.
Let's start with Vinny. I gave Vinny a C- overall in defense. I thought for some big games he gave some effort. For the most part, wasn't really there. So effort overall was a C- as well. And then again, deployment F from Carlo.
Yeah, I'm struggling to reconcile the deployment because it's like an F deployment can turn a B into like a D. An F deployment can turn like an A, into like a B plus season 4 Vinny into what we saw. So I'm really confused here.
Well, because with Vinny, it's tough because we're talking about it. He didn't also have he had a bad offensive output too. See, I think the thing is, if he had scored well, that would have colored how we thought his season went. But he not only did he not defend, he also didn't score on top of that. So it's like my guy. Like
you said C- for him?
C-, yeah.
C-.
Give him a D+. It's fine with me.
I'm actually gonna go or C. I'm gonna say C+. I'm just putting both our ratings there, the range of ratings that we have, and I'm gonna say that honestly, I'm like it was bad enough where I assume Xabi can take him for a whole grade above. So he's not an A, but I'm telling you, anywhere between B and D. I don't know what Carlo did, but like, it's I'm really not convinced it's a C-, dude. Because we've seen because he's still tucking for me, which Mbappe was doing. For me, Mbappe is the C-, and
Mbappe might be like an F.
Yeah. All right, so Vinicius C- or
C+, C+, C+. Yes, and I do think, remember, we've seen him defend, right? Under Zidane got him to defend. I think Xabi with a system will also get him to defend better. Like, again, I think this is the thing about having Xabi. I think it just a structure is going to help all of them be better as a collective. Individually, they'll be better, and the collective, because they'll know, oh, this is my zone. This is my area, right? Like, this is what is required of me here. There's a saying that in an NBA parlance, it's called guard your yard, right? Like, if we're playing ball pressure, and you're playing point of attack, you cannot let your man just waltz right by you like a turnstile. Like, you just, like, give some level of resistance, right? Yeah. Like, so that way the rest of the defense isn't taxed because of it. So again, I think Xabi will simplify things in this, because that's the other thing, Sid, is that Carlo's freedom is chaos. And with chaos, particularly on defense, offense is a little bit different because you can kind of like, all right, we got the ball. You're a little more juiced up. You're feeling different. On defense, it's completely chaotic. You have no idea where anybody is. That leads to complete disaster. Whereas Xabi's like, no, we're not going to have chaos on defense. This is your zone. This is your zone. Are you taking care of your zone? No? Why the fuck not?
Yeah, and on top of that, I would add, I would like Vinny. Like, I don't think you can have Vinny and Mbappe to get, like, that's what I was saying with Jude. You need Jude plus one of them up front, the other one on the left, 4-4-2. This is pretty easy, guys. Like, that's all we got to do. If you're doing a 4-3-3, it's always going to be someone tucks. Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo did not when we defended in a 4-3-3 with them, it was not going to work. It just is not a defensive formation. So I would say, have him sit deeper. Don't press CBs. Defend with discipline within team concept. That's what I'm putting as the expectations.
Yes.
Stop running solo. Stop trying to press someone when you feel like it. Press when the whole team decides
Correct.
to.
Correct. I think there needs to be some code word that Xabi has for them where he yells it and they know, oh, that means we're all pressing now. So, because as you know, Sid, a press isn't a one-man thing. All the dudes have to be in sync because when one person goes up, what happens? An area is vacated behind them, which means someone has to fill and play the carousel to now take that spot up to cut off that passing lane, right? Like, but too often times in Madrid, bad angle, pressing by myself. Oh shit, the whole bottom behind me is wide open. Pedri passes up the middle, and now they got 5-on-1 behind us, and we're screwed, right? Like, we can't have that anymore. Cannot. You're on mute.
Sorry, and if you're following on to the podcast, I just threw our little cheat sheet on the screen. So let's continue to Kylian Mbappe now.
Jesus.
I mean, it is like Carlo again comes into this. I just feel like he wouldn't even have a conversation with him. It was like, oh, Kylian didn't defend, like smoking the cigarette. David, like, get the other guys to defend. We got to attack better. That's the key. Like,
he literally said in press conferences, said Kylian's job is to score goals, not defend. Well, so here's the other part about that. If you're hearing the manager say that and you are a teammate of Kylian's, well, how come he doesn't get not to defend and I have to? Which is why I think you saw a lot of Vinicius being like, I'm the one that won the Champions League last year. Like, if that guy's not defending, I'm not defending either, right? Like, why should I have to sacrifice and kill myself defensively?
Yeah.
And so Xabi's got to get that under. Look, I'm not asking him to be the world's best freaking presser, but my dude, can you learn what the right angle is when you're coming to press somebody, right? Can you learn to actually give effort? How many times this season when we were out of possession said the screen, no matter how big a screen you're watching, Kylian wouldn't even be in the frame when we were on defense. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? Vinny too sometimes. I'm like, we're literally playing 11 on 9 because you two are doing whatever, your own thing, not in frame. We can't have that. Can't.
And I want to see, I'm going to call it the Ronaldo solution. All right, but what's your grade? What's your grade though, real quick?
Oh, D-. D-.
All right. I'll just say.
I mean, he should be an F if we're being honest. Like, he should be an F.
D/D- Jarod. I'm gonna have to. This is the first one we're really different on. I'm saying by Kylian because I saw Ronaldo drop 60, and even when Zidane got him to defend, it was a little more short-lived. Like I always hype it up. It's like no, it was still short-lived. Ronaldo's still like Messi never defended. In my opinion, I do subscribe to the belief that like what Carlos said in the press conference wasn't wrong.
It's not wrong.
However, it sounded like he wasn't going to work on Mbappe. Like, I think Mbappe needs to do better. Doing better is still not doing that great for him.
Correct. Know? Yes.
That's the point. Yeah. So the bar is so low. And that's why I'll say C, Sid, because I think the bar will always be low for him. But I think when you put him on the worst defensive system of his career, like everyone looks like an F, like in terms of impact, and he especially. So that's what I'll say. I'll just go like C/C-. It's not his best season, but like I think he can easily become a B, and it's not his job to be more than a B, as we talk about.
No, I want him to be average. Just be average. Just be average.
Right. Yeah, I guess if C is kind of closer to average, I'll just say C-. I won't be so generous. And
being real generous with him.
Well, and yeah, that's where like kind of like Zidane with Ronaldo,
and we get that, right? Like. You're going to have players in that system who aren't going to defend, and that's Mbappe. But we can't have Mbappe and Vinny not defending. Like, you just can't. You can't. Because now it's all on Jude to provide any kind of press, and you can't press with one player. Right? Like
100%. And honestly, the best feeling in the world, Jarod, was January 2016 when Zidane came in, and he's like, nobody's allowed to, like, be lazy. All of you run. And I'm just like, because at that point, even Ronaldo, Bale, like none of them were playing well enough to do this whole I'm not defending thing. Like, come on, guys. Like we lost to Barcelona where even Neymar and Suarez run. Why can't you guys just do this for us to win the game?
Literally. Just run, my guy.
And I think what it came down to is like Benitez was weird. He sent Ronaldo a USB telling him how to shoot free kicks. That was dumb.
I mean, you have to know who you're talking to and how to deliver the message. Like one thing you don't need to teach Ronaldo is how to fucking shoot free kicks, right? Like that. You don't need to do that.
Yep. And I would argue the tactical, but regardless, I would argue I point to that time because overall the tactics where they are, they're very much like end of 14-15. We were a better team. Tactically, I would argue we were still a little like unusually offensive without it holding midfielder in that 14-15 season. And as everyone knows. So for that season, at the end of that year, Benitez did bring a lot of defense in. He got Casemiro defending, and like the way our line played was just way better even before he got fired. And then like for him to kind of set it up, but kind of tease us, and then Zidane comes in and he's like, "Hey, Cristiano, like truck. Even I don't care if you're swapped onto the right wing, you're trucking Alba. If you're on Alba's side, you track Alba." And I miss that. And I think Alonso really is so fun because his last season here was that 14-15 team. Or sorry, his 13-14, and then the 14-15 team happened the year after he left. So I just feel like he's seen this up and down evolution so much. Even at Bayern, like Arturo Vidal was brought next to him. He knows that you need a mix of like brawn, coverage, and everything.
He sees it, and he, as a midfielder, when where he played, he recognizes offensive threat. And if you watch what he did at Leverkusen with that team, they were among the worst teams in the Bundesliga in terms of giving up expected goals, expected threat. Like, and then once he took them over, you look at their numbers, he cut that dramatically and stifled other teams' threats. And so I think what we're going to have is a lot of, again, I keep using the word pragmatism. He's going to be very malleable and pragmatic with how he does things. I think a lot of times when we're out of possession and we're defending, you might see 5 at the back. Like in that Tchouaméni as the holding midfielder might even be like, yo, we're like in that like 5th. So we have 5 guys back there. So there's nothing coming through. And especially that because I think when we're in possession, not because we're going to start that way, but because of Huijsen's on-ball ability and because of Trent's on-ball ability, I think you're going to see those guys pushing forward a bit, right? And so in possession, it might look like 3 at the back, right? Just because those guys are like, they're excellent with the ball at their feet. So I think you'll see a lot of that sort of like switch interchangeability with what it looks like. That's why like when people are like, oh, are you playing 3, whatever, it's like, that's just what you put out on the sheet to start the game so that everybody knows whatever. But during the flow of the game, it's going to be a million different things based on where we are possession-wise, what the game state calls for, this, that, and the third.
100%. On that note, which player are we going to next?
We're still up front, right?
So I feel like Brahim is just I don't even know what to say because like I don't know what, like he plays coming off the bench. Who knows what he's asked to do on defense? I feel like
that's my biggest thing with Brahim. I want a clearly defined role for him. Like who and what are you? If you are the first sub off the bench, I want it to be very clear what is expected of you. Because he wasn't what he was last year. I know we're not talking about offense, but the season before where he was our super sub, literally, it was like, oh, Brahim's coming to the game. We're gonna be awesome. Wasn't that this year? That's on offense. Defensively, I thought at times like he's always gives A for effort, always give a good effort, but I felt like he was lost a lot, as was this team this year, because it was like, wait a minute, now who am I chasing here? They've got the ball, they've got numerical advantage behind us. Right? So Brahim gets an A for his effort, but again, this is down to Carlo's like terrible deployment.
Yeah, totally. A for effort for Brahim. More clarity, I'll just say. Like,
I want to know what And you're on the side of we keep Brahim as our off the bench player, right? You're not in the sell him category. Maybe you are. I don't know.
You're not getting ambidextrous guys who can take people off the dribble, like damn near anywhere, unless you're a really fast fullback. He can take you off the dribble. You don't get those. Like, where do you get those?
Right.
You just don't. I think a lot of teams would kill for him, and I think he's still in his contract, as we talked about. He's in a place where you want players like that who don't deserve to be undisputed starters, who you can keep because they may not be so unhappy where they want to play somewhere else. And I think he's actually in that sweet spot. Goldilocks.
Yeah, I do.
So Brahim, I have nothing bad to say. And then who's next? That's kind of our attackers, right?
Yep.
Next, I feel like someone like Goulart didn't play enough, so we shouldn't even like.
Well, so Goulart overall, they'll played over 1,000 minutes this year, so that's enough for me. I'm going to give him an incomplete grade. I know that a lot of the fan base was like that he didn't take advantage of his chances early in the season. I'm not blaming him for that, Sid, because he played well for Turkey during the Euros last summer, really well. And I just thought that because he had no defined role and it was clearly something Carlo was looking at for him. I don't know what that thing was. He didn't do it. And I mean, remember, there were weeks he didn't play, like on end. It was like, oh, and that fucked with his confidence, man. You're 19, 20 years old. So yeah, of course he sucked on defense because what am I supposed to be doing here? Am I the goal scorer? Am I the So I would love for him to have a consistent role. And it sounds like from everything I'm hearing that Xabi views Arda as someone who's going to be a consistent player for this team. Not a starter in every game, but maybe when they rotate, but he will have a consistent spot off the bench, maybe as like the second sub or whatever. And I think we both agree that it's the deep lying playmaker role, right? That's the role for him. So
yeah.
It'll depend on where we are in the game and what we need.
Forgot about Endrick.
Oh, yes.
I mean, again, I feel like it's incomplete. Like
he's also incomplete.
Not
enough minutes.
Not even enough minutes. Yeah.
But we discussed this on Keep Sell Loan, Sid. We have to loan him out so he gets an opportunity to play all the immaturity out of his game. And like, first of all, he just has to play, and he's not going to play here. Like, who are we taking off to put you on the field for? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. So he has to go play somewhere.
Where else do we go from here? We know Goulet, Endrick. Are we getting to our next big one, Fede Valverde, the next guy who does most of the defending?
Yeah. I mean, Fede A+, obviously, like he runs his heart out. I mean, what can I say about this guy? That hasn't been said. You know, he is a physiological specimen from a lactate clearance standpoint. However, all that being said, I've said this to you privately, and I'll say it publicly if I haven't. I'm worried about him, Sid. Like, I think we've taken years off of his career by what we've done. He is by far the number one person in terms of total minutes played in all of world football between club and country over the last 2 seasons. By far. That is not a good. You don't want to be number one. That's not a list you want to be number one on. You just don't. Not a list you want to be one on.
Yeah, you know, I think I forgot to add, but I got to add to Jude. Lower the load for Jude, play him higher up. For Fede, literally just rotate him and prolong his career, please. Like we need that for Jude, but with Jude, like we also just use him like a bar of soap when he's out there, like more than you would for most attacking players. Honestly, I'll add, like rotate and get Jude surgery. We honestly both him, like, because everything you said about Fede just kind of made me realize, like, three guys did 90% of the defending: Rudiger, Fede, and Bellingham.
That's it. Only ones who gave a shit on defense. Look, so Bellingham picked up the yellow card last game in the game against whoever we played on Sunday. So that means he's out for the last game against Sociedad. Fucking, why isn't he on the surgery table this morning? Like, what are we doing?
I think he'd be 100% for the Club World Cup. That's why they're waiting for after. So
because what's that injury take separation, like 6 weeks?
Yeah. So the point is, like, even if you did it at the end of the season, you can't come back like day one for the Club World Cup. Like, you need like 3 weeks. So they're like
adapt.
Yeah. So we're like, fine, just practice against Mallorca. Like, chill out at like, don't train here. Use Mallorca as practice because they're a little more unpredictable. Which I don't disagree with playing them now, Jarod. Like, you want to compete in that tournament. Right. I think using La Liga as practice instead of training hard internally between your guys is just genius. And like it's not genius. I wouldn't call it genius considering how many things you do bad, but it's like not that dumb. Like
no, Sid, you're right. My issue isn't with. I think that's dead on. You use these last 2 games as practice. My issue is that we're playing the Club World Cup. That's my issue, right? And so because they're not going to be able to get the rest they need, and so because of that, yes, you have to use these last 2, the last game on next Sunday as practice and whatever. And so I agree. That's the right way to do it instead of burning them out on the training pitch in between these games, right? Use that as practice. So I'm totally down for that. I just wish we weren't playing the Club World Cup. So with Jude, so if it's at the end of the Club World Cup, which ends on like July 14th or something like that. That would mean 4 or 6, and then he needs 3 weeks to adapt. So that would put him out until the beginning of September. But the reason why I don't like that, Sid, is because although maybe he is very brilliant, he's not going to get that time on the pitch working with Xabi on what he wants him to do. So when is he, you know what I mean? So like, when is he supposed to learn his new role and get his time to be up there, right? Because
I'm less worried about that. I think he's the easiest plug and play superstar we've ever seen. The only reason is because of that. But like I will say it could be a concern with a lot of players though. I think luckily he's such a plug and play guy. It's just he's a lot more plug and play than Mbappe, where he's not defending, he makes certain runs, he wants the ball to feet. No, this guy just will do whatever you ask of him. He will make off ball runs. What I love about him is how he's fast for a midfielder, maybe not for a winger, but very for a midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
And then he always makes the selfless run. It's just you just don't see that all the time, dude. I mean, and even when he gets frustrated, I'm like, holy crap! Like if I were you, I would just stop trying sometimes. Like I would just lose it. And
I mean, and he does. He gets so pissed. You can see it.
He does. Yeah. And instead of like not stop trying, he'll just like let the frustration boil all the way over in certain places, which is what I would do. I would do that. Like I would lose it.
He's also said like he's like thick, like physically, like in his like chest and shoulder area. Like he's like what 6'1". Like he's a solid dude. No, I mean we love Jude here, Jude's, and I think your point is well taken in that he can through osmosis and just talking to Job. Yeah, like because I can see him being like, all right, I'm in my sling, I'm at practice, and I'm watching, and Job is like, yeah, this will be your, and he's picking it all up. Like, all right, I know what I got to do. Like, so I see that.
He's also like the only guy who can head the ball in the squad. Like, it's pretty hard to keep him off the team when he's the only like he's the most dangerous like box threat aerially. Like
it's only him and Tchouaméni can head. That's it. No, I mean Rudiger I guess can head too, but
yeah. And so a tricky one here, Camavinga. I feel like I'll just say I don't think it was his best season defensively, impact wise. But with that,
he had moments though. He had moments.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like Camavinga is a sign of how bad the coaching was, because it's really hard to deploy someone who's that good, long-legged, really hard to get around. And every time we've had a game where we get embarrassed with him is when I want Carlo out, uncoincidentally, because it's hard to do that with a guy like that. You must be doing something wrong to make him get spun around. Like, what are you doing, Carlo?
I agree. At 6'1", he's another preternatural athlete. He's 22, Sid. Like, so I know a lot of the fan base is like soured on him or whatever. I'm like, you guys are nuts. This dude is 22 years old. I am not giving up on Eduardo Camavinga, not in the least.
I would never want him going anywhere. I don't want to ever see him anywhere for now. Like only when he's 30, when he's on his physical decline.
I agree. We've seen him boss World Cup finals, right? We saw him do it, right? Like him and Tchouaméni bossing Messi in a World Cup freaking final. Like we saw it. Okay, so we know he's got the goods in him. He is the king of the Cobra slide tackle, like unbelievable tracking back, being able to and hold on to the ball. The dude who has it now is dispossessed, falling over himself. He can turn on the other way and take off and go. But Carlo, F-, even worse than an F for deployment on him. Like, how do you mess up that dude? So I believe that Xabi will realize, yo, I've got a Ferrari in my Lamborghini in my garage. No, I know how to use this dude. Like, I know how to use him.
Rolls Royce, or I don't know what you want to call it, like
Aston Martin, whatever.
like intergalactic spaceship. But yeah, it's he's something else, because it's actually ridiculous that we haven't seen it. I wanted to see some of this under Carlo. I used to go on old pods back when I was on Managing Madrid, just talking about how Camavinga and Tchouaméni could bring like a Carlo defensive renaissance, and
he should never deployed them right. I think you're right, though.
You can't though. Like coach, if you don't know how to play defense as a coach, like good players aren't going to change that. He doesn't know how to rotate. Yeah,
no, correct. I think you're right, though. He is not the holding midfielder at 6, right? That's Tchouaméni. However, I do think Camavinga. I think you can play him at times in the double pivot if you want to do that sometimes with Tchouaméni. Yes. If we're rotating Fede out for whatever, because we need to rest or whatever, I think you can totally play in double pivot next to Tchouaméni because of the advancing that he can do, right? Like that Tchouaméni won't. Tchouaméni's, by the way, when we get to him, switch a play, like he can switch play. Like we've seen him do it. Like, yeah, I think Xabi will unlock that as well.
Where's the rating though? I feel like it's A, effort. And like, honestly, for me, it's hard to not say A. I mean, if we say he wasn't covering in some places, you could say like B+ to A at worst.
Yeah, he's A effort for sure. I just thought Carlo deployed him wrong. Like,
yeah, 100%. And honestly, I just remember watching games where it was like Camavinga, Jude, Fede, they're all there. And for all their talent, they've never had to deal with fires like this, where like two guys aren't defending. The other team knows they won't defend. Your coach is asking you to still go win the ball. You're pretending you can win the ball back as a team without your top two defending. And then everything just keeps going wrong again and again. You make an awesome play. Oh, look who we got. And then by the end of the season, the narrative is everyone's souring on you because your coach just didn't set it up. And I hate it. On that note, I think Tchouaméni as a whole, we're only grading him as a holding midfielder here, in case you're wondering, not counting him as a center back. I would say A. Like, I think.
Listen, I know I said it to you before. I think he can be the best DM in the world, like better than Rodri. Like, I think he honestly can be. The problem is that he had to kick it and shuttle to center back, and he plays center back. I think Lacante said this on your last show. He plays center back like a defensive midfielder because that's what the fuck he is, because he's a defensive midfielder, not a center back. So I hope Xabi never plays him at center back, ever. Like, I don't want him back there. It's different when he's dropping, if Xabi's like, okay, I want 5 guys back on the, that's different. Like, because he's not a center back. He's just a defensive midfielder that's playing within the 5 lines. With 4 of the guys on the line, I want him to be a defensive midfielder, the holding midfielder, because I think, and in a single pivot, he can be so good, Sid. Like, I think his switch play is excellent. Like, his long range passing is actually better than people think it is. He just needs to do it more, right? And the reason why he can't do it more is because there's no structure into what's going on, right? Like, he's putting out a fire, and then he's like, okay, I got the ball. Where's my outlet? Like, who am I getting rid of it to, right? And I just, there's just too much chaos. Like, he is the kind of player that I'll say it this way. Imagine there's no Rodri that exists, and Tchouaméni is the DM holding midfielder for City under Pep. How fucking awesome is Tchouaméni?
He's awesome. And I think here's the thing. He maybe doesn't get to the point where he's playing 107 passes per 90 like Rodri in his best season. 23-24, Rodri was ridiculous. And because even Cruz, like, we don't have anyone in the database who played that many passes per 90. Mm-hmm. But that being said, Cruz was pretty much just as good per pass, if not better. And still pretty much just as good usage relative to context and structure. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I'm with you. I think Tchouaméni and Cruz would be better than Rodri and Gundogan.
For sure.
Or like whatever, Kovacic. I mean, Kovacic just doesn't belong on the name. He doesn't belong on the pitch with the other 3 names. But like, I like the guy. It's just like, he's the kind of guy, like, that's an example of, like, even Pep could only get so much development. Like, he's good.
Yeah.
I think if he, like, I don't know. He never picked it up. He still makes mistakes.
Yeah. And so for me, again, I think Xabi will see, because he and Tchouaméni are kind of similar in terms of how they play. But I think Tchouaméni's a better athlete than Xabi was at his peak, right? So I think all of those things, I think he's like, you're me. Like, you're a boss version of me, right? Like, and I think that would be more than anyone, except for Jude, because I think he'll do well with Jude. I think he will do wonders with Tchouaméni. Fucking wonders. And then I'll love to hear what the fan base has to say about Tchouaméni, because it's another one the fan base is down on. And I'm like, you're down on him because, again, Carlo F- for deployment. Why is he playing center back and out of position?
Yeah, and on that note, I would say that I think the quartet, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, and Bellingham, I think he weaponizes them and minimizes the weaknesses of the rest while rotating Jude and Fede. That's what we hope for. And I think Camavinga, Tchouaméni are going to be awesome. Yeah, like Tchouaméni has the same, like, distance and range in terms of his ball striking ability as Alonso. It's pretty ridiculous, honestly. Some of his passes are shot.
Sid, we've seen him with France, long pass switch.
Or his goal against England. Like,
right. What are you trying to tell me? When he plays for France, it's like he's a different player. I mean, yes, he is, because he's a defined role, knows what he's doing. So what that means is the skill is there, right? And the execution is there because we've seen it happen. So why can't we replicate that here? What's the problem?
Yeah, and I think the pivot area will really be solved. Like the double pivot, single pivot. How are we covering the half spaces? How are we doing rotations around the fullbacks? Who's covering? Because I feel like 13-14 Madrid did that better when Carlo was here, because like they don't have a traditional destroyer. Like I don't think people realize, like, Alonso was like a B, like B to B plus press resistance. Honestly, B press resistance, A plus technical ability, and A plus effort, and like A plus positioning on D, and maybe like B dueling, like better than Cruz at dueling. But he wasn't like he wasn't the athlete Tchouaméni is.
Right.
He wasn't the A plus destroyer Casemiro is.
Right.
But he was the best defensive player along with Modric in that midfield. They made it work.
Yep.
Di Maria worked hard. He didn't tackle. They made it work. And I'm so excited just talking about it, because that team did a lot more defensively with less than Carlo has a whole 10 years later with this.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Between fucking Fede, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga, the amount of destruction they can do defensively, breaking up all entry passes, and like and Tchouaméni, by the way, when the Bernabeu crowd booed him, were whistling him, like, and then after that he played like the best holding midfield the rest of the season. he broke up so many offensive interventions like on a regular basis. He was bossing people. I was like, this is the freaking Tchouaméni we need. And that was again under a crap Carlos system. So imagine with Xabi's like understanding of like positioning of where to be, I think it can be destructive. So let's say we're playing against, I don't know, Barcelona or something, and we're like, all right, we're going to go Camavinga and Tchouaméni a double because we're gonna take out all the anything they play towards the middles and the sides, right? Because then you can have Camavinga shuttle out to help with Lamine. Although if we get Carreras as a left back, I'm feeling pretty good, right? Which that's the rumor anyway. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see what Xabi Alonso does with this crew.
Now going to the defense here. We're almost done. Home stretch. Vasquez. Just some of these names. It's like, okay, let's get this over with.
Okay, so Carvajal, Alaba, and who else?
Well, I got the names on the screen here. It's like we got a big list, but it's still
Oh no, I mean, who I'm like not even going to grade them. So Alaba and Carvajal not even getting graded, and Militao like what they didn't play. So I got nothing for them.
Yeah, I'll just put NA for Carvajal. Yeah, I got nothing for Militao. I mean, he got rushed back, Militao.
He did,
so
which is a bad idea.
All I'll say is expectations next year, like expect to never have him back.
Right. Don't do that shit again. Do not rush him back, please.
No, I mean, not only that, you might just assume that you ruined his career with what you did too.
Oh, 2 ACLs? You probably definitely did.
You ruined his career. I expect the club to acknowledge this. That's all. Assume you ruined his career. Don't rely on him.
And Alaba he's an NA too, because I don't even like know what's happening there. The one thing I'll say though about Alaba, we didn't mention Modric.
Modric, yeah, we'll throw him in right here.
So Modric gave tons of effort, because he always gives effort, but you saw his physical limitations, especially in a squad that had no defensive structure. So he's already limited because he's 40 years old. But it made it even worse because it's 40 and in a system where there's no structure whatsoever. So he's trying to run back. I mean, come on. A 40-year-old Modric ain't catching an average sprinting midfielder in world football today. He's just not. So again, that's that numerical disadvantage we're at the back. So I think Xavi can help with a better structure. Here's what I will say about Modric overall, and this applies to Alaba too. And by all accounts, it looks like Modric will be back next year.
Yeah.
Because Xavi actually wants him, which I don't mind from someone's got to understand how Xavi wants to play and like an adult in the dressing room. I'm down with all that. What I don't want to happen is that means it stifles Arda's development or whomever that would be, and Xavi, because he trusts Lucas so much, he leans on him too heavily, and it stunts a younger person's development, because I do think that could hurt us in the long run. But I love having him there because he played with Xavi. Obviously, he knows what he wants, as did David Alaba, by the way, in Xavi's last year at Bayern Munich. So again, if an extension of a coach in the dressing room and someone who can, again, another adult in the dressing room, because these younger guys, Arda, they still need that, right? They need to understand what it means to be a Real Madrid player, what he's looking for. And it's also like, you know how it is, Sid. The coach says something and you're feeling some kind of way, you're in your feelings, right? But then a teammate like brings you over and hugs you, is like, "Nah, man, don't worry about him." Like, all he's trying to tell you is like, dude, right? Like that has value. That has definite value. So if Modric and Alaba are going to do that, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm just making a note for Alaba. Do not play him at left back against Saka ever again.
I mean, if all things being equal, that dude ain't never going to see the field next year, unless it's a situation where we're playing like, a relegation team and we're already up 5-0 or whatever. Like, fine. Like, and it's mop up duty. Cool.
Do not play him forget against Saka. Do not play him at left back. If we ever see him, please let it be at center back, in my opinion, or like back three. Do not want to see him ever in a back for left back role.
No,
all right.
God, no.
Asensio. I think impact and effort were like A. I think actual rating is like, I think a B plus. A B.
Yeah.
I'd say it's so hard because like I think in the F system, paradoxically, like a C to B center back can't look that bad, dude. You're right. Not their fault half the time because they're exposed to so many situations. So what can you do? It's kind of like Ramos and Varane. Everyone used to hate on them in the late 2010s, and like now before Zidane set up the defensive system, dude, like Zidane's leaving them one-on-one. He doesn't know how to coach a transition defense. It's not their fault. They're playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3. And when they do, they play really well. So
how many fires did Asensio have to put out this year? Like, and I love the effort. He has such pace. And because of his pace, he was able to put out a lot of fires. Did he make mistakes? Of course he did. He's a 22-year-old playing first-time senior Real Madrid center back. Like, of course he made mistakes. But B+ given context. And again, I think Xabi can work wonders with him.
I would say actually for Xabi, just manages expectations. Has great. I think like he has potential.
He does.
I don't know if he's undisputed once we have a good like once Saliba, Rudiger, healthy Rudiger, Saliba, Hudson, like when those are the options, I think he goes into a Nacho role potentially. Yeah. That's where I say manage expectations, try to keep him around.
And honestly, Sid, he showed us that he's decent to, I think, as like ceiling to be good on ball to very good. Like he can advance the ball forward. He can pass well long range. Like I
think he's actually better on the ball than without it. Like I think his ceiling on the ball, he's actually like, which is surprising. You don't just see that out of nowhere usually, but he has real balls on the ball. Was very surprised how I wasn't nervous when he gets it. And yeah, he made mistakes, but I feel like his on-ball mistakes were less proportionate and less concerning than maybe the defensive ones were. But again,
structure clubs clean up those out of ball mistakes.
I think a lot of people reacting and saying Asensio's world class or Asensio's trash. It's just a bad team. I think it's all just like it's a noisy season, Jarod. Like we can't risk interpreting too much from this year. We need like kind of like Zidane came in with Solari, gave everyone 10 games before he told Perez to sell. It's almost like that now. You don't want to rush to judge anyone after what just happened. All right, Mendy. On
Jesus Christ.
So just on defense.
I mean, he's incomplete too. Mendy didn't even play all year. What the like? He played like 3 games. Like, let me see Mendy's minutes.
No, I think he played more than 3, but like he was getting bent. Remember the Liverpool game when he just got
because he was freaking atrocious.
Yeah.
I think I gave him a D- overall. C for effort. Like I was just like
B for effort. Question.
And he was injured like for a lot of the year. Like I just. So I put what my hope is for me. You know what my hope is for Mendy? Because I don't think we're going to get rid of him. Can we design an off-season plan for him from a physiological and biochemical a biometric standpoint where we get this man healthy? That's what I want. And a plan to keep him healthy throughout the season. Is that too much to ask?
I think so.
Do that?
They say he's not playing the rest of his contract. He's that badly hurt. It might be over. I don't think they're renewing him next time to try and get him on that diet plan that you have in mind.
But
I'm serious though. I think it's. Do
you think it's because there's something wrong with his effort, or he's such a high twitch, certain muscle guy that he was not trained correctly and properly to deal and manage with that? Because he is a unique Well, I mean, every human being is unique. Like, but he. More so than the others, is a unique musculature.
Yes, he is. I can't say. I honestly, frankly, can't tell with him. I've never ever paid ultra close attention to his situation because he's always been in this weird like in and out type situation since the first for so long.
The beginning.
It's just been weird. I think maybe early under Zidane, maybe like he was solid defensively. You could criticize him a little on ball, but ever since then, there's been a lot of debate over whether he's worth keeping. I don't know what's going on with him. And frankly, like I haven't always looked because I just can't believe that they've relied on him for so long. And also I can't believe that they won the title last year with him, like kind of making this midseason comeback. It just didn't feel real at that point. I'm like, only at this club, like this guy looked horrible. We all saw it with our eyes. And then he just turned it around, turned it on, completed his passes, just did the Zidane roulets every once in a while.
Joe, he turned it to Zinedine Mendy in the Champions League. I was like, what is this guy doing? This is incredible.
And it's still in awkward moments. You're still scared, but then it works.
But again, Sid, so we've seen the execution happen. So what is the situation with the consistency? You could argue it's the injuries, which don't allow him to play consistently to get more minutes. But why is he always injured? Is he just someone who's injury prone, or is our medical and training staff not giving him what he specifically needs so that he is healthy?
Totally. Something to wonder about him. And I'll just say next season, if any expectation, if he ever plays again, play him as a big game defensive specialist, kind of like Fabio Contrao. Like Contrao, because Contrao in 2013-14, he was, I think Marcelo played more, but like the first leg in Munich, we got Contrao there, or first leg at home, he's locking up Robin because Carlo didn't trust Marcelo in that situation. So
because at his best, and this wasn't this year, but last year, Lamine was like, "Who's the toughest back you have to face?" It's like, "Oh, Ferland Mendy, without question." Like,
yeah, that's where like I don't know what to say. That's why I left 2 question marks. This is a very confusing one where it's also the problem with him. If we were to be honest, it's like you could remove his grade and just be like, problem isn't defense fully.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's kind of like Rodrigo, but in the grade side, I'm throwing it here. Like, can't even no point grading it. That's not the issue. All right, Carvajal, not applicable. As far as when he played, he was solid. Maybe I don't know if he would have survived the year, and he didn't, and I don't think he would have even if he didn't have.
Correct.
One of those people who thinks injuries are freak injuries. I think he was due an injury. Like honestly, even the year before, he like the gluten free. Like Vasquez played some good minutes for us the year before. We lost Carvajal, and we had to play like a Vasquez who already looked shaky if he was overextended the year before.
Yep.
Overextend him. So I would just say assume his career is over.
I wouldn't say he might not be over, but yes, I think he's clearly not coming back as well. Trent's coming, so he ain't the starting right back. Like that's duh. He is a squad player now. Like that's your role. Like you're a squad player.
Yeah, like I'd say usher him into the next stage of his career.
That's exactly
whatever it is, whether that's like off the pitch, and then Vasquez. But like,
what do we even need to say here? Like, I mean, a 30-something-year-old who should not have even been playing as much as he did. So
I think leaving it blank is the best way to say it.
Correct. And he won't be back next year, so it is what it is.
Yep. And Rudiger, I'm just gonna say he's that Bellingham tier for me.
Yeah, I thought Rudiger had a really good season. Not as good as last year, but he effort wise always there. I think he's another one, Sid. Between club and country, he's played a lot of full 90s. A lot. Too many. I mean, he basically came out and said, "Yeah, I played the last like 8 weeks injured." I'm like, that's probably not a good idea, my guy. Like, and he had no choice because we had no other center backs, so he had to play injured for basically 2 months. I already said this to you. I know you're not concerned because you're like, we don't get as many miles on him, but I'm like, but this injury is already going to sap him from some of his athleticism that he has, and he's a very good athlete. Like, it's already going to sap some of that. I know in center back it's less concerning, but I am worried about that. I think the club has to start looking at, which I think they will, not this summer. Although I've been hearing stuff not to rule out the possibility of signing another center back this summer. We got to start looking at phasing him out into the squad player level, where you're like, you're not starting. It's like, okay, if you play on a Saturday, you're not playing Champions League midweek. Like, you're not playing until the following weekend La Liga game. Or if you're playing Champions League, you're not playing La Liga. Like, that's because you just can't. Like, I don't think we're at a stage now where he can do that. And this is why it's important for me to have A and B squad depth. Like, we need that. We need it desperately.
I think what's tricky is like, I think what happens is Rudiger, we assume he plays the next couple years, but we see if we can get rid of Alaba Militao. We bring someone else in. But I think Hudson, Saliba, and out of our whole crop, Rudiger's the one I would keep because of what happened to Militao. I would try to offload like Militao and Alaba. I would keep Rudiger. And we have
of the three, I'm keeping Rudiger for sure.
I'm saying, the tricky part is this year because he needs this year as the break. And so if we could get Saliba now, that would be ideal.
I would love it. I don't think we can though, because I think he's still under contract, right? I think for the rest of
the year. And he's not going to go tell Arsenal like, hey, like I want out like 100 million. They'll give it to me. Just get me out. No, he's going to be like, he's going to tell Florentino, just save that signing bonus, bro. I got you, G.
Save that 100 mil, my guy.
Text from Florentino, hey, hearing rumors you are a little upset. Should I come in this summer? He's like, no, would rather just win more titles with you, not strengthen them, and support my family better or some shit. Just like, nah, it's good. Like, and also I'm working on like how I defend this certain shape. I want to practice one more year before I go. I'm just kidding. But,
here's the other question I have. I think it's too early to judge him. I know fans already like, Jacobo sucks. I don't know because he's only played like 3 matches, so I don't know if he sucks or not. There's not enough sample size for me to judge anything. I do wonder, again, with a structure, is he someone that we can count on for squad depth next season? And if because remember, Raul Asensio was allegedly the worst of the 3 between Jacobo, Joan Martinez, and him. And Joan Martinez, yes, coming off ACL, but he's 17. So this summer, because he's going to travel with the team to the Club World Cup, so he might get some burn like in those matches against like Pachuca or like those teams that we're going to beat. is he someone that Xabi's like, oh, I can work him in and he can be part of squad depth? These are questions. I don't know. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think we might have seen so much from him. Again, it's in F season, so you never know what's going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and not assume he's part of plans for now. I think Martinez is more. I think they're more likely to want to look at Martinez than I think that. Yeah, I think they might be like, we might have seen enough of you. I don't know. They might be fed up. Like the reality is, like as a youth team player, like if you show up like Asensio, your leash is going to be pretty long. Like even if you make an occasional mistake, show up bad off the bat. It's first impressions matter. It's just
the anchoring effect. I talk about it all the time. Like but it's a form of cognitive bias, though, right? And it's like it can make you make bad decisions. Like just because like the first time you saw him and he sucked doesn't mean he is a player who sucks. Maybe he is, but we don't have enough evidence to suggest. Like, and that's where when Xabi comes in the training, what does he see on the pitch in training? And also what kind of training can we even do? Like these are, this is why it's all, and so this is the reality of it, Sid, because of the crowded fixture schedule and the way in which football is going right now, there's not going to be any opportunity from a lot of these young guys to prove anything in training. It's when you get your shot in an actual match, if you don't deliver right away, that's your chance and it's over. And lucky for Raul, he showed in literally his first action with the ball was a long pass to Jude for a goal. And they were like, okay, you're staying, right? So that's a high bar to set for every young player, right? The first time you touch the ball better be amazing or else that's it for you. But
100%. It is a high bar, and we'll see how that goes. Also, just one note, I didn't get too deep into the stats because honestly, on offense, it's going to be more fun anyways. Yeah, defensive stats are sometimes a proxy of how your team is set up. For example, Jude, like Mendy just doesn't average anything. Like he averages.
Yeah.
Because he's plays in this like one-on-one role where he's not intercepting things. And then Jude actually paradoxically averaged more tackles and interceptions this season. Breaking all that down is its own data story. And the reality is, like, when the defense gets worse, like, I think the story is Jude had a higher load on him for no reason. Last season, he had already a high load, but it was like covering. I think this season, the load became just as much covering and then more dueling is what we saw. So that's kind of something where maybe you don't want, like, if you got more tackles and interceptions from him this season than in a year where he was already incredible defensively, maybe that's something you don't want. But again, defensive stats are a little fickle. You keep the ball up. Offensive stats year to year, that's going to be a fun comparison, which we will do on our next episode, probably later this week. Well, Jarod, about to wrap up here. Before we do, I just want to shout out some of the people in the chat. Some of them asked about Alvaro. Listen, we're excited about Alvaro. We're going to go and dive into them. Someone asked about Angelo Stiller. Listen, we will dive into all of them. We do not just release things for the sake of releasing it. We will break them down. We have we're building a team here. We want to scout the players. It takes time to scout players. We will give you statistical impressions, but we're really trying to make sure we do our research before we release that. So Stiller, other players, maybe Castilla, who's Alonso could use, all that as we catch up with film, we'll get to. And also want to shout out Xabi, the dude who's on the spaces all the time on Twitter. What's up, man? Thanks for being in the chat. And we'll definitely be setting up some Twitter spaces with you sometime soon.
That's cool. Yeah. And I'll say this as well, Sid, like, we do need to dig into things. I will say I've been watching Dean, and I'm going to watch him again this week. He has 2 more matches left, I think, this season in Premier League. I like a lot of what I've seen from him. And the problem with Carreras and Stiller, it's not a problem. The only thing I've seen is their 12-minute YouTube highlights, and everyone's 12-minute YouTube highlights are literally the best things they've ever done on a football field, a football pitch in their life. So it's going to look amazing. So yes, if you want to hear that, the 12-minute highlights I saw for both of them look amazing, right? But we need to watch them closely to see what's what.
Totally. I think us letting Kirkes go to Liverpool and getting him is very instructive. We don't want to, because Kirkes is a traditional left back. Because Liverpool, Robertson's a traditional left back. Trent, really, you don't want him high and wide, as we talked about on our last episode. You want him playing deeper because he's a weapon, and it just is like you take him out of position on defense for very little gain on offense when he's already threatening. Kirkes is a direct Robertson replacement. Frimpong is not for Liverpool. Frimpong, Ted Knutson pointed it out on Twitter that Frimpong is more of a wingback replacement.
Wingback,
yeah. So that's a change. We could have got Kirkes as a wingback. We chose to get Carreras on purpose, and I wonder if that's because of the rest defense. Honestly, my opinion is it's all for the rest defense. When you don't have to advance your fullbacks, you can. But when you don't have to, you have a little more versatility on offense where you can play settled possession with inverted fullbacks. We've seen this positionally before. So yeah, I think Carreras and Trent. I think Carreras was because also he can play left center back. And,
Yes.
I really like what we saw. To me, it seems like he's the direct Alaba replacement more than anything. If you want an Alaba replacement, you get him. If you want like a Marcelo type replacement or whatever, you want a wing back traditional, you go get Kirkes.
Right. Yeah. I think you're dead on with that. And I think these signings are also instructive as to what I believe Xabi's first order of priority is going to be. And I guess coincidentally, or like lucky for us is what we started with. I think his number one thing is going to be shoring up this defense. Like, I think Xabi is like looking at the film and is like, what is this garbage that this is atrocious. Like, we have to stop this madness. So in many ways, Sid, I would say expect to see changes on defense before you see any changes to like our attack buildup and all that stuff. Although, because of the way that football works, if your defense is shored up, funny how that will lead to a more consistent buildup and attack on offense, because you're not putting out fires all over the place and you're down on a numerical advantage and you're just scrambling to save your life. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
100%. Jarod, this has been a lot of fun. The people are even asking for an NBA show. That's how much fun they're having in the comments. Hey, Jarod has an NBA show, in case you don't know. True Hoop. It's phenomenal. Like, just one of the best places in NBA media. One of the few places I consume. I don't even consume media, but like if I do, there are a few places I would always go to, and True Hoop is undoubtedly one of them. So definitely check that out.
Appreciate that, Sid. Yeah. I'll give you my quick NBA takes. OKC in 6, Indiana Pacers in 6.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'm with you. OKC in 6, Indiana Pacers in 6. The same depth problems we see in this sport, really. I think the reason OKC win in 6 is because they have an extra rotation piece or two that Minnesota doesn't have. And Minnesota are deeper, and that extra depth still almost doesn't matter in this matchup, which is
pretty
crazy.
much. And the Knicks have no depth. So here's the thing. The Knicks better win game 1, because if they have to chase Indiana from behind, they're going to wear themselves out.
How was New York, Jarod, after that last win? Was it lit? I wish I was still in the Jersey area. I wish I could have driven to the city that night. I miss it. I feel like a Knicks fan right now, Jarod.
Bro, let me tell. So listeners may or may not know, I have lived in this area for the majority of my adult life, and I am an old man. I did spend some time out in Silicon Valley and on the West Coast, but for the most part, I've lived in New York City and went to college in New Jersey. As much as this is a baseball town because of the Yankees, and when the Mets are good, it's even crazier. There is nothing like this city when the Knicks are good. People lose their God-forsaken minds. Like, I step outside my apartment and people that know what I do, they like attack me the minute I come outside. And I'm like, bro, like, calm down. Like, I get it. You're excited. I know. I feel you. But calm, my brothers. Calm. It's cool. It's cool. We'll talk about it. But it's also just like, it's the mom with her baby stroller on 79th and Central Park West with her Knicks hat, Knicks shirt, and you're like, what the? Like, they love it. And honestly, Sid, like, there's nothing like sport. Sport is one of the few things in the world that has that kind of gravitas and ability to sort of unite people, even though it's also extremely divisive. But it's a wonderful thing for people to rally behind. And so this is the Knicks' first trip to the conference finals in 25 years. Some of you weren't even born the last time they were in the conference finals. That's how long it's been. So kudos to New York City and the Knicks fans. I know they're excited about it.
Yeah, like I said, I miss my days being in high school in Jersey. I feel like I'm still there. Like, just watching them win, I'm like, all my friends in high school still live there, and I know that some of them are having fun with it. To be honest, I didn't think the Knicks would do well. I didn't even hit them up. I didn't make fun of my old high school Celtics friends because, like, I just didn't think they'd do it. And honestly, it ended tragically. So I'm not going to go text them making fun of them. It was a tragic end to the Celtics.
It was.
But yeah, we'll be back. Oh, and OKC in 6.
OKC in 6. I think their depth. I think they grew up a lot against Denver in that series. And look, we have a large enough sample size. OKC was the best team all regular season long by wide margins, and their 2 wins against Denver, 2 of their 4 wins were blowouts. Like, because they're just better. Like, and I think that they will have learned a lot, and they're ready for Minnesota.
Xabi says Knicks are Arsenal. Do you agree with that? Like,
ooh, I like that. I like that.
Team that's a little lacking in areas. That's like never playing you off the park, but super gritty, always there.
Yes, and they're annoying to play against because it's hard to. And the Knicks are annoying to play against, man. Like, look, they got dogs on that team. Like, those guys defend hard, and Cat's the X factor in this series. If Cat really is like, okay, when they decide to put Nemhard or Neesmith switching on me, I have to punish that matchup every time. And he, you know, when Cat already made fun of him, he's like, oh, I'm the best shooting big man of all time. Like, he's not lying. Like, there aren't 5 big men in the history of basketball shooting wise you're taking over Karl-Anthony Towns. They're just not. And when I say big men, I mean actual centers. There aren't. There are not 5 centers you're taking over Karl-Anthony Towns. So
I'm just happy to see him succeed on the big level, Jarod, because for years, you know, I mean, this in 2019, there was a convo with every big man if they could even make it in the league, if they could guard Steph. And now we're in this era where they actually can. And it's just crazy. We went because I'm looking at Cat, like there were timelines when the whole league thought he would be out of the league by now, like type of crap. Same with Yoke. It was like, can Yoke defend like Bam Adebayo? Oh, like now that sounds dumb.
You're like, it don't matter because he's the greatest problem solver in basketball. So who cares?
But these were real questions that were being asked 5 years ago. So it's cool to see the league go big. And yeah, we're excited for the rest of the NBA. You know, we're definitely more exciting NBA playoffs after the way the Real Madrid season ended. Like,
good God, one more match to go, Sid, and this abomination's over.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like when I know the games don't matter or when I know the tactics have failed, I kind of zone out, dude, because you're honestly just getting more angry and it's failed, dude. You're not learning anything. And I don't know why I don't know how some of y'all do it.
The last thing I'll say is, how does this team against a squad with 9 men, they were down to 9 men and we could not generate, like, what we have 2 extra people.
It's funny. I'm gonna cut. Like, I'll criticize him for all the 4 years, how much Courtois had to bail him. I'm gonna cut him slack. Like, it was a practice. This is the one game. Like,
he was practicing. Okay.
I'm gonna cut him slack, guys. Like, we're just like trying to make sure that we stay a little fit. Honestly, it was like an elaborate dance, not even a practice.
I was like, this is some horse shit.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like when you pick up the controller and you just kind of want to try something, like, and you kind of want to just try it. You want to get warmed up maybe before you play the first game of the day. I don't know, but
are you? How excited? Or excited is the wrong word. How invested are you in the Club World Cup?
I will be invested as soon as our new coach is announced, because I just need to see him get announced. Like, once I know he's training the guys, I really have a lot of like longitudinal ideas that tie into the last 10 years. And once the reports come in, like a lot of it is the lens of like what he saw as a player, how he saw to balance teams. And once Alonso's here, I'm going to be excited. Once we get Trent to Mbappe, I'm going to be excited. And I am excited now, Jarod. I'm quite excited for the Club World Cup, to be honest. I feel like, I mean, it's happening here. I mean, it's not happening in Chicago. I don't know what the hell they're doing in neither the World Cup or the Club World Cup.
Really? There are no matches in Chicago?
No matches in Chicago, dude. I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? Like,
what's the closest city? What's the closest city to you that's gonna have a match?
I gotta look. Probably like, I mean, Ohio, Indiana, like St. Louis. I mean, there's a lot of places. Probably not St. Louis. Definitely not St. Louis, but I'm sure there's.
How did they not pick Chicago? So they got Philly, I know, Charlotte, I know, New York, New Jersey for a Giant Stadium. That is wild. LA, I would imagine, probably.
Yeah.
And then Miami, probably.
Let me pull up the spots here as we.
Yeah, let's do it now. We might as well.
Yeah. People are going to be curious anyways. So the locations, we're going Philly, East Rutherford for NJ, Charlotte, Pasadena and LA, Atlanta, and because they got a big soccer following, Philly, Seattle, Orlando gets 2 stadiums, dude.
Orlando?
Why do they want to like cross sell Disney World tickets? Is that the goal here?
It must be Orlando over Chicago.
Oh my! It must be some cross selling thing. It must be that they have some math or data that Chicago is not going to produce as much. Like, and even then, like, what, dude? This is like a big city. It's the cleanest big city. It's cleaner than New York. Come out.
Oh, I mean, well, yes, most big cities are cleaner than New York.
Well, this is the only real big city. Not all the others are imposters. They're too small to count as big cities. LA is not a big city. It's a little downtown and a bunch of villages.
Sid coming for all the LA heads.
I went there, man. I've been in LA, Chicago, New York.
You went to UCLA, so I will say I do love Westwood though. Westwood is nice.
Westwood was nice. Brentwood, Beverly Hills, being next door is nice. It's well policed. It's clean. It's like, I mean, as clean as LA is disgusting. But as clean as LA is going to get. And 100%, I did like Westwood. I thoroughly enjoyed my 4 years there, no question. And lastly, so the Cincinnati, I think, is going to be the closest to me. Man, I'm not feeling going down. I mean, I don't know.
Wild. No one in Chicago. That seems so poor to me. But they must, like you said, there's some kind of math that told
World Cup's the same, Jarod. Same story, I believe. World Cup.
That is wild. Not the World Cup. Well, listen, Sid, you might have to move.
I am moving, but I'm moving to Denver, where away from the city, where they don't play games. I'm moving to watch Jokic and go to the mountains, probably.
Listen, not a bad life.
Not a bad life. Well, Jarod, thank you so much for coming and elevating the show and providing everything. Thank you, all you listeners. We will be back soon. Xavi, we will have to get in on the spaces with you. We got to get in on all that drama. And, we hope to even bring you on this team, Xavi, as we've talked about in private. So if any of you are interested in contributing in any way, even for fun, you feel free to reach out. We're building a family here. Thank you. Tell your friends, subscribe, comment. See you guys next time.
Yes, sir.